Stepping out of between systems. I don't know how you've been feeling the last weeks or in the last week or two, but I know a lot of people I worked with, and myself, I felt very exhausted. And what's coming up in the system at the moment is it's about, well, ascension, it's about embodiment of your spirit. And everything that's between that or in the way of that is being cleared and transformed at the moment. So what's been coming up very, very strong in the last 2 weeks is to support people to clear what's between systems. What I mean by that is, for example, if you and your father, for example, have information on a soul level because you've had different past lives with each other. So you came back, you chose each other to resolve what you did not resolve in other lifetimes where you did not complete systems. So you chose your dad chose you. So how do you resolve? How do you clear that? Through human contact, through maybe getting angry, through him triggering you, through you triggering him. And then whatever opens up in that field will clean the emotional body and clean the system of whatever is blocking from different lifetimes. So what happens, so what I want to emphasize really is the fact that your interaction with your father, for example, is very unique for you. If you have a sibling, a brother or sister, you'll notice maybe they have a different connection because they have different past life information and different system information. So if your sibling is behaving different with your father is behaving different with your sibling, it can be related to, it's just different soul information, different past life information. What I mean by between systems, and this is stepping between systems, and this is something I discovered years ago in my own family system, that I have been stepping between systems, especially as a twin survivor, vanishing twin survivor, but everyone's doing it in some way. So when you step between, for example, say your dad and say your mom, okay? So your dad and your mom also have karmic information which they need to resolve. And they need to play that out. So they maybe need to play out rejection or maybe some abusive energies to crack open the system to undo what, or resolve what was not resolved from a different time and space, a different past life. So what I mean by jumping between systems is that when this direct contact with soul to soul is happening, if it's almost like me giving you a session. So for example, if I'm holding space for you and we're going in the session, and we're going to very, very deep topics, and then suddenly maybe your dad or your sibling jumps in and grabs the transformational energy, which is the heavy energy first, because he needs to resolve it, and takes it from the system. Okay, takes it from the session. That leaves you stuck because you don't have the information you need because your dad or your mom took it out of the system. They came between you and your healing. So that's what I mean by stepping between systems. So not to blame or not to feel guilty or not to feel ashamed, but it's to the point where we need to stand in our own system and only work with our own information, which belongs to us as a free sovereign spirit. So it's cleaning the old between grids or between systems, which our ancestors have been doing, which we have been doing, which our parents have been doing. So I want to support you in this webinar to teach you how to resolve it on a daily basis and how to change that habit and where it comes from. So, for example, if you're a twin survivor, you naturally were in the wrong place, so you're naturally going to keep taking people's systems information. If you do, it's almost like you're carrying a rucksack of heaviness in your system and it can't be resolved because it doesn't belong to you. So I want to show you in this webinar how to give it back in a very gracious, a very loving way, and how to resolve it on a daily basis if it comes up in your life, okay? And then how to crack that habit that you don't do it again. And even if you do it again, you'll know how to then to resolve it. This really makes you feel lighter, more refreshed, more free. It gives you space to be yourself and for your spirit to really embody. So And this is really a crucial point. It's really like a treasure hunt with all the different points. And this is a really big one in the wholeness or in the embodiment of you, because if there's system information in you which doesn't belong to you, or you have given away system information which belongs to you to somebody else, or somebody took it from you, it's very important for me to, to address that and to really resolve it in my system, so I become whole again and I allow others around me to become whole too. So in this webinar, we're going to be working with literally transforming everything we took from people, give it back to them. And I'll do that also within the genetics, so the ancestors can do the same thing. And we'll work through the whole system. So this way, we'll be a sovereign spirit in our own identity, in our own signature codes as a spirit. And it will help us to fully embody and to resolve that denser information, which we can't resolve because it belongs to other times, to other people. So I'm looking forward to sharing this in the webinar and teaching you how to do this. It's really, really, I think it's something that should be taught in schools to children. It's very, very important piece to be aware of. And it makes such a difference because it just makes you feel fresh, opens up your system, opens up your spine, opens up the back of the heart, so you can live and be yourself. So if this resonates with you and you'd like to have more keys, more consciousness of how to live on a daily basis and how to work with systems or support others to release this denser systems, and how to really crack these old karmic systems, the codes, I'll be sharing this information in the webinar. Have a beautiful day and thank you for all your love and support.